Hello, 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 and greetings, one and all. Welcome back. To those of you who are joining me for the first time, I welcome you and thank you for joining me. For those who have been with me the last session, welcome back again. Tonight, we're going to continue talking about changing your mindset, understanding that you and I are destined for greatness. We're also going to talk about no more delays, no more excuses. It's time for us now to get up and make a change. So come on with me. My name is Cherry Ann Sobers, and it is a privilege to be with you once again. I pray that you had an awesome day. Mine was quite busy as usual, but I have to be accountable and do my video. I'm a little off of my schedule, but I'm here. So get a pen, get a paper, get a book, get something, because you never know what may inspire you. So from our last conversation, we talked about, again, changing our mindset. We talk about our monies. What are you doing with your money that you get, whether it's every week, twice a week, however you get paid, monthly? What are you doing with that money that you receive? Are you working really hard for your money, or are you letting your money work for you? If you have not been letting your money work for you, don't worry about it. We're here to learn together, and we're here to make a difference. All right? So I'll tell you again how I got started. Let's just say when I was in my 20s, about 22 years ago, there was this woman this white lady that I worked with, who took the time and invested in me. She was a wealthy woman married to her husband was doing well. He was the vice president of the NBA media, I think, at that time. And so again, at 22, 23, out of college, she sat me down and she asked me a few questions. And she said to me, Cherry Ann, what do you love to do? What are your goals? Do you have a bank account? All these different things. And so I thought it weird. Why would she be asking me these questions? But God strategically puts people in our ways. Even when we don't understand it then, we'll understand it later. And because of what this woman told me and taught me, I have applied it all these years. So I'm getting ready to share it with you as well, hoping that you too can in turn bless someone else. So Sally sat me down, like I said. And so I said, Sally, I love to party. I love to dress. I love to buy clothes. I love to go out. I love to travel. And I gave her a list of things that I love to do. And she said, well, how often would you go party? And I'm like, at 22 years old, every week, every other week. Of course, this is many moons ago, before I was saved. And, she listened intently. And I told her all these things I love to do. And she said, well, what is it that you want? And I said, well, Sally, I want a house. I want a better car, because I had a car at that time. My dad had bought me a car from the time I was 17. So I said, I want a better car and I want to travel. And so she said, okay, do you have a bank account? I said, yeah, I just barely opened up a bank account. And she said, good. So we had all these different things. And she said, okay, if you want a house, what's your goal in getting this house? What's your 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan? And I don't think anyone had said that to me before. And especially coming from Sally, this white lady, I'm like, why is she asking me these things? But nonetheless, I got my pen, I got my paper, just like I'm telling you guys, get a notebook, get something to write it down. And so I started writing down, I wanted a house. I wanted all these different things. Now, mind you, at 22, 23 years old, my salary was in the low 20s, right? I thought I was doing well. It's not like the kids now who graduate from college and they're in the six figures. No, I was making $20-something thousand and had the audacity to say that I wanted a house. Anyways, that's what I wanted. So she said, you want a house? This is what you're going to do. You're going to have to sacrifice. And I'm like, okay, no problem. She's like, you're going to have to either give up your partying or cut out partying. What? Like, I'm young. That was the fun thing to do. Who does not go out? But I still listened. I wrote down what she said, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's not going to happen, right? And then she said, what else do you love to do? And I said, with travel, I like to do my hair, I like to do my nails, I like to do all these different things. And she said, well, cut down on your spending with your clothes, cut down on doing your hair. Here's ways. I need you to figure out how you can save some money. And this is where I want you guys to be, right? Because in my mind, at 22 years old, I had goals, but I didn't know how to obtain those goals. Like you sitting there right now, mama, papa, student, wife, husband, granny, I don't care how old you are or who you are, you have goals of wanting to obtain things that always seem impossible. Here is someone now telling you who did it at 22 years old, okay? So I listened and I followed the protocol and the things that Sally was asking me to do, which was difficult. Now, not only did Sally sit down and do these things, she invited me to her house. And her house was in Jersey, somewhere far, far in Jersey, where I think they had the street belonged to them and you had to drive really far. But I remember going into her home, and I'd never seen a home so huge before, like a mansion that she had. And you walk in and the stair, everything was like gold, like real gold. And the house was massive and they were still building. And she invited us there. And like I said, her husband was affiliated at that time with the NBA. So I was exposed to like all the basketball players and people who had money at that time. When she would have her parties, she would invite me, right? And, it was like, wow. So I started paying attention. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So I'm exposed, I'm paying attention to what she's saying. I'm exposed to these things and I'm like, wow. And I have a mentor invested in me. I didn't know that she was a mentor at that time. I just saw it as someone who took the time to nurture me and put me under her wings. So I wrote down the house. I started to save. I got an envelope and I started putting the monies in the envelope. So as an example, when I started braiding my hair, and then for like a whole year, I braided my hair. I sacrificed braiding my hair. When I needed the retouches, I learned how to do it myself. I started to do my nails as opposed to going to the nail salon. I stopped shopping for a whole year because I had enough clothes then to last me, some of which I kind of still wear now. And then, I just followed what she said. I had an envelope that I put aside because I only had one account, which was everything, right? I had put an envelope down for the house and name it. By the way, in order for this to work, you've got to put a name to your goals. Meaning, what's your goal? Some people's goals is maybe to go back to school, but they don't have the money to go back to school. Some people's desires could be, like I said, a house, first or second house. Some people's desire could be to open up a ministry. You don't know how to start. Some people's desire could be to do a YouTube, like me, right? And don't know how to start. Some people's desire could be to open up a business, but you don't have the collateral. You don't have the money to start, right? Whatever it is, write it down. Write your vision down and make it clear and look at it. So I had mine in envelopes. I had the house account, the house on the envelope. I had the car on the envelope. I had the travel on the envelope. And then obviously the one I had was the bills, right? So when I cut out these things, you would not believe how much money I was able to save from cutting out on things, on shopping. When I wanted to go buy something, I'm like, let me just put it in that envelope. And so I did this for a while. Then she taught me now, she said, okay, now that you're diligent in putting your money aside, now I want to take you to the next step. Now, for those of you, I'm going to come closer, who have a problem with your money talking back to you, saying, spend me, take me up. Listen, you have to change your mindset. Here's an example. Yes, I'm talking 9 minutes into it and you're probably saying, listen, I have kids whose mouth I have to feed. I can't even afford a Metro card. I can't even afford to put gas in my vehicle. And you're telling me to save? You're telling me to put money in an envelope? Your story is not my story. You don't know my story, but guess what? I don't know your story, but God does. And he's able to do exceedingly abundantly above what you and I think or imagine. So let's say you are a coffee drinker and you love to have Starbucks coffee or any other coffee. And you have that coffee 3-5 times a day, let's just say. So let's say, as an example, your coffee costs $5. And you drink coffee, let's just say 3 cups a day. Because I know people who have to have coffee and they said, oh my God, I'm addicted to coffee. And if I don't have the coffee, I go, ugh. You're not addicted to anything. Change your mindset. Because before the coffee, you were normal. So back to the coffee. Let's say coffee is $5. You get 3 cups a day. That's $15 a day. You multiply that by, let's just say, 5 days a week. That's like $75. And then you multiply that by 30 days, right? Or 25 days out of a month. Check and see how much money you will have if you stop drinking so much coffee. Okay, maybe just cut down from, instead of 3 cups to 1 cup, right? If you're a person who likes to eat out all the time, and we love to eat out and have fun, but if you have a goal, you got to sacrifice and cut back, right? God, how can I do this? Eating out has gotten so expensive, especially those who like to eat out really well. Stop eating out every week, or stop buying food every week. Maybe start to cook. If you don't like to cook, kind of sort of like me, then you figure it out. Make your meals stretch for you, right? Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. Those of you who are spending time watching TV on end, watching the news on end, what is it doing for you? If you hear the news once in the morning, you're going to hear the same thing throughout the day. Use that time to invest in yourself. Use that time to change your mindset. Prayer. Ask God for direction. Ask him to put the right persons in your pathway who can be a blessing to you. I wasn't saved back then when Sally came into my life to be a blessing to me. But God knew what he was doing. And although she gave me information like I'm giving to you guys now, and I'm sure some of you are thinking what I was thinking, like, why is she telling me this? She's wealthy. Here's a white woman. Why is she even telling me this stuff? But my mindset was changed at 22 years old. I declared that I wanted to be different. I declared that I was going to get a house, making $20-something thousand a year. I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do, but I followed someone's direction and I started to put my money aside. And when I started cutting out and non-essential things, I watched how my money began to grow. Let me tell you something. $15 can go a long way. Those pennies and coins that you get when you come in from the supermarket and stuff, put it in a jar. And don't touch it, though. Put it in a jar. Look around you and say, God, how can I let my money work? What is it in my house? You look around. What is it in your house, your apartment, wherever you are, that can work for you, that you're overlooking? We're all gifted. We're all talented. We're all able to do what God has gifted us to do. Your thing may not be my thing, but you'd never know unless you try and change your mindset. Repeat after me. I am destined for greatness. You are destined for greatness. We are destined for greatness. Yeah? Let's change our mindset. So, as promised, I don't want to keep you too long. But on the next segment, I'm going to give you more of my testimony, right? More of what that lesson at that age fostered me to do over the years to where I am now, right? I'm not here to teach you how to get rich. There are many channels on YouTube all over that can teach you that. I don't even believe in being rich. I believe in being wealthy in Christ, because knowledge is better than money. I know I've been blessed and graced to be amongst a lot of wealthy people. Doesn't faze me at all, right? What it is knowledge, because a lot of those people who have lots of monies, who are 6 and 7 figures and millionaire people, some friends that I know and that I have, well, let's just talk about the entertainers. Let's just jump to the entertainers, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm directing anything at them, right? But using the entertainers, the singers, the actors, how many of these people have millions of dollars and yet they become bankrupt? They're bankrupt. You guys know of some of them. Major stars. How is it that you're doing movies after movies, but yet you're bankrupt? It's because they were working for the money. They didn't let their money work for them. You have some athletes who understand how to let their money work for them. It's not about being having the latest vehicle, the latest clothes, the latest anything like that. You have to know how to make your money work. And so continue to stick with me and we'll do this journey together. My pleasure is seeing your growth. My joy is seeing you taking this little bit of advice that comes from me, Cherry Ann, and somehow applying it. This is for the mothers. This is for the children. This is for your nieces and nephews. This is for your grandchildren. This is for your Sunday school children. This is for us to pass this information along, to teach others. I believe that each one teaches one. It's not about me. It's about us. How can I serve you? How can I be a blessing to you? How can where I am today make you way better, way better than I am today? That's where my joy will come. So until next time, remember to like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend who will tell a friend and tell a friend, even your enemies, because your enemies also to we want them to be blessed. We want them to shift their focus from you onto themselves so they too can be blessed. So have an awesome night. God loves you and I love you as well. Thank you for joining me. God bless you.